note, after considerable haggling with the Arbiter of Hassus Creek, we were finally able to talk to Dr. 58. We had decided not to pay over the 100 sea chips as the Arbiter had requested because we felt that we should have maintained some hand over the... We started bargaining by offering not 100 sea chips but only 5, at which point the Arbiter referred to us as a debased soul cannibal. To make a long story short, the Arbiter finally accepted 25 sea chips, and let this be a lesson for all you those planning to dabble with Ouija board entities. There is no reason to ever let them push you around on any issue. So anyway, on to Dr. 58. I am omitting open salutations. So, Dr. 58, the Arbiter of the Hassus Grid required us to pay an amount of sea chips in order to communicate you through your Hassus Grid. Are you required to pay the sea chips?
I am required to fuse glass balls of oil with energy.
And how do you do that?
There is a method as outlined in the Verdantic Mysteries which instructs the transfer of human chi into liquid inside the glass bowl.
Well, okay. We really want to know so much more about this thing, including the satellite disasters you mentioned. But first, we can't help but ask about something that we're very curious about, and that is about the Mississippi River. The largest river in America, essentially, bisects the country down in the middle. The river has its own source inside Minnesota. What are your feelings about the fact that the massive river emerges from inside the borders of Minnesota and flows outside to the normal world?
Is that what you call it, the Mississippi?
Yes, well, what do you call it?
I'm afraid I don't know if I should speak its name. It is illegal and dangerous.
Well, as far as you came to no harm during our session, should be fine. Can you tell us more?
That you speak of is the Gradachaks.
So is that what it's called, that big river that flows out of Minnesota?
Yes, it is a sort of much mystery, loathing, and terror.
What you mean is that the entire Mississippi, which is you call the Gradachaks, which flows past Iowa, Missouri, and all through the nation, must somehow be totally avoided? That doesn't seem remotely practical.
What would you have people do? Swim in it?
Why not? The river is used for all kinds of activities, from shipping to boating to pleasure in our world.
No one in their right mind will go near the Gradachaks and even look at it. I don't believe anything you say.
Well, we're just being honest with you, and we're having a conversation that you don't have to take seriously. But millions of square miles of land adjacent to the Gradachaks is kept clear of people?
Yes, of course.
What about it seems to be the sea in the south, that which we call the Gulf of Mexico?
The Delta of Dread, to be avoided.
What have been some kind of problems associated with the Gradachaks?
Numerous to mention, frightening to speak of.
Just tell us one thing. Just give an example. Can you?
Monsters, bizarre things, weird things, a massive flood of corpses and body parts.
Wow. You mean things like that scene in the river in the Gradachaks?
You know nothing about it? You say you are Minnesota.
Again, we theorize that your universe is not ours. You are in some kind of parallel or other universe, similar to ours in many ways, but obviously vastly different.
That is an amazing concept. I am not sure to understand.
First, tell us more about the incidents associated with the Gradachaks, would you please?
There are many whispers, many rumors. Strangely, some are whimsical, lighthearted, but most are horrid, frightening to speak of.
Note, we could really sense that Dr. 58 was hedging on telling us anything more about the Gradachaks. We decided to see if we could ease him into the subject about one of these whimsical episodes.
A few years ago, there were insect machines.
What was that all about?
There is no official record, but the incident spread rapidly by word of mouth.
What happened?
One night, strange lights appeared in the sky south of Minnesota. They appeared to move south. Witnesses from the distance heard bizarre noises in the vicinity of West Bank of the Gradachaks.
What happened then?
There was much nervousness. Such incidences are rare. In the light of day, high-powered optical devices scan the area towards the area where the activity had occurred.
Who did the scanning with the objects?
The government! They saw road devices positioned on the shore, some distance from the tracks.
Were they investigated? What were they?
Since it was well out of Minnesota, the hazardous authorities approached with shock troops. Devices, there were small vending machines, one each imprinted with the words in ancient language.
What did the words say?
Scholars spent months deciphering the glyphs. One were ancient dead language. The words meant no famine.
How curious. Huh. And what were the machines? You said they were vending machines?
Yes, each device carried a wide horn on top. These were suction cup devices. The machines attracted the insects and sucked them into the horn and down inside the device.
And then what?
The machines were fronted with panels and small doors. A horny knob could be manipulated. The machine would then dispense a wrapped cake made of insect matter.
This seems to be totally ridiculous. What it sounds like you're describing is a kind of candy bar machine we have in our world. You put money in and it kicks out a candy bar. Do you know what we're talking about?
Not really.
Well, you do seem to know the term vending machine. This is essentially what we're talking about here. But you seem to be telling us is that for some totally loony reason, some strange people or spooks or whatever came out of Minnesota, set up a vending machines that are able to suck in insects from the air and then process them initially into edible insect protein treats for humans to eat, and use as a way to keep people from starving to death? Please. Do you really expect us to believe this dippy story, Dr. 58? Certainly you must have some kind of trickster ghost or sprite who's only playing with our minds through the Ouija board.
Well, I don't believe anything you say either.
Well, tell us more about these no-famine machines. I mean, what they're really made of? Metal? What were the insect cakes wrapped in? Plastic?
The machines were made of bone of undetermined animal. The insect cakes were wrapped in leaf matter, which turned out to be oak leaves.
We can't take too much of this. What's the power source of the machines? How do they produce suction to gather in an insect?
The hearsay on the street is that the machine contained a black pellet, which appeared to supply power.
What? What was the pellet made of? Plutonium?
What is plutonium?
Never mind. We're just joking. It all just seems so ridiculous. But this would suggest that there's a sense of altruism and good, and to keep you from starving with the yummy insect cakes pulled free from the air. What did they taste like? Were they moist and delicious?
You are naive. It has been seen attempt to poison people, perhaps drug them and make them into klooks.
What's a klook?
An animated dead person, a slave.
Well, couldn't insect protein treats be tested for toxin or fed to animals?
Very likely, but this is top secret government activity.
So it's thought by your authorities that these no-famine machines were sort of some in Minnesota ghoul setting out to trap people.
That would be obvious conclusion, why not?
We ended the session here. We had a few beers and then had a few good laughs about us considering pitching the idea of the automated insect protein machines to the United Nations. This is the end of part 3 of The Strange Tale of Dr. 58. If you wish to subscribe to my videos for any future uploads, just click top left corner. Or if you're interested in reading articles on topics similar to this, highlight the link below and then paste it in your browser.